Why are you looking at this particular plant? Yeah, there's some nice, white flowers and some weird looking leaves, but why is this showing up in the video? Well, simply put, what you're actually looking at is wild rucola. Yes, that rucola that is nicely packaged in plastic bags or plastic boxes in the supermarket that probably cost you, I don't know, like €2 or $3 for 500 grams. And this is how it grows in the wild. So with these flowers and with these strange looking leaves, it's actually more intense if you pick it in the wild. Now, you're asking yourself, okay, I clicked on this video thinking that you were going to talk about anger and how to deal with this. And why are you showing me an edible plant? The point is that this is the best analogy that I could come up with us humans. I believe that we all are this wild rucola. We're not some nicely prepackaged plant that is pretty much sprayed with pesticides, GMO free and clean from any kind of bad bacteria. I actually believe that this is what we truly are in real life. We are wild. We grow in weird ways. And we just have some, simple looking flowers, which, by the way, you can also eat. So I don't believe that you should actually look at yourself like a nicely packaged person, because if you thought of clicking on this video and thinking that you'll get that solution that will solve all of your problems, well, look at this wild rucola, okay? You're not going to be nicely packed. You'll always have insecurities, and you'll always have something that you desire you would not have. So I just wanted to point out there that this is not going to be an easy journey for you if you want to heal, if you believe that you can attain perfection. So, coming back to the video. By the way, you can actually eat this. I just did. It's very intense. Maybe the only thing that you might worry about is that if a dog peed on it. But otherwise, no pesticides, no GMO, so you don't have to worry about that. And no plastic, chemicals leaking into your food. So, very great. Now, what am I going to be talking about in this video? Well, in this video, I'll share with you how your souls are actually creating this state of anger that you are in. Now, I want to just point out that yes, there are many, let's say, nuances and explanations. So, one could be sexual dissatisfaction, which is an issue. Second could be, well, if you're currently in an abuse situation, you have to get out of that. But I'm not going to be talking about that in this video, because I'm much more focused on your souls and how to help them manifest the best way that they can. So in this video, I'll pretty much tell you that you're in this angered state, so in this frustration against life, against others, pretty much against yourself as well, because you're not listening to your soul's messages. Now, this might sound very general and not at all inspiring, but what do I mean by actually listening and communicating with your souls? Well, what I mean is not just perhaps talking, it's actually allowing your souls to guide you in life to do what you're meant to do. In other words, your soul's purpose. Now, I just wanted to give a bit of a backstory to why I believe we're actually here on this earth, what we're meant to do, and then, how this ties in with feeling, the frustration and anger that I was talking about. And of course, as always, what can you do about it? So if you're interested in this, stick around. If not, I guess I won't be seeing you. So coming back to why are we here on this earth? Why are we living? Now, I had this question asked to me by a family member. And they asked me, well, why is it so important to live a fulfilled life? Like, if you have a job, if you've got a partner, and, if eventually you get that family, like kids and the house and all of that, like, what's so bad? You are safe, you have people that you love around you, and life is pretty decent. Like, what's this big thing and this big hoopla about living with fulfillment? Well, that was a very great question because I didn't know how to answer that. I asked ChatGPT for their responses, and it all came back to, well, living with fulfillment is the most important thing that you could ever do. But nobody really answers the question, well, why? What's so bad? Well, in a sense, just living, let's say, this decent life that I described previously is nothing bad. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. If you feel that that's what you want to live, then go ahead, full path, forward, as they say. The problem, however, is when it doesn't feel that great. And that's pretty much to those souls, or to you people on the internet, that I am trying to resonate with and speak to. Because many of us, and well, myself included, come with the instinctive feeling that, that's not enough. Yeah, okay, you might have security, you might be, financially stable, but it's like, is that really all that there is? I mean, we all hear in the news how all of these rich billionaires or millionaires, they have plenty of money, but they can't get a partner. And two, they just feel like shit. So, that whole, that money will buy you happiness is kind of not real. I really hope you do hear me with all the cars driving by, but okay. Now, as I was saying, what I believe you're actually here to live for is, simply put, to feel more abundance. And what do I mean by that is to feel universal love. Sorry for this change of scenery, but the wind was picking up there, and I think you would get annoyed with the sound from the mic, so I wanted to just get some cover. Hopefully it will do. Now, continuing with my thought process, I believe that living here on Earth is to feel more of that universal love. And when I say universal love, I mean that love that is so fulfilling, that it's just abundant and it's infinite. It's a love that you feel when perhaps, your parents just hug you because you didn't do anything. You just know that there will always be love, or the love that you feel from your partner, or not even like that, let's say, close just some kind gestures that you get from strangers or from, your colleagues or friends. That's the love that I'm talking about. And what happens is that many times we kind of forget that. We think that we're here on earth to get stuff, to get that house, to get that car, to get those X amount of zeros in your bank account, or, to get that status. I'm not saying that that's important. I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm just saying that that's not the actual fundamental core of why we're living. Because, as I previously stated, many millionaires are unhappy. So, just having materialistic stuff does not mean you will feel fulfilled in life. And the point being is that this universal love that, you kind of get reminded of when, these interactions happen, like a hug or a gesture of kindness, or a simple, hello, how was your day? Actually somebody interested in your life. Well, most of us think that this can be compromised, and that we can pretty much live our life without thinking about that, just saying, hey, I can survive without this. Well, here's the catch. Yeah, you can survive, sure, but who wants to stay in survival mode their whole life? I mean, what, are you gonna stay scared? Until eternity? Until you're 100 years old? That's maybe the thing that many of us don't want to be in. Now, coming back to this state of anger and frustration. I resonate with that because I was in that state, the typical teenager, as I started out my videos with. And I felt that everybody else was to blame. And more importantly, I felt that I was guilty. It was all my fault. And I think that this kind of view of the world really, really kind of destroyed my own willingness to actually live, And therefore, I believe that if you are in this state of anger, and whether or not, you actually admit that you're angry at yourself, or you just say, no, it's everybody else, to blame, it's that thing, or it's that situation, or it's, that event, or it's my family, or my friends, or whatever you can come up with, I think at the core, there is actually this dissonance that is being felt by your physical body. And what is this dissonance? Well, as I started out, you're not allowing your souls to speak what they are meant to speak. And it's pretty hard to actually swallow that truth, because when we grow up, we all have these ideas of who we want to become. I mean, when you're in primary school, you probably had this question asked to you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You might say you want to be a firefighter, or you want to be a pilot, or a police officer, or a teacher, or whatever it was, and you have all of these beautiful images created in your mind when you're a kid. And then kind of when you get older, you see, maybe it works, but it doesn't work exactly how I imagined. And the fact that it kind of doesn't follow your kid's vision is pretty hard to swallow, because when you were a kid, you were bombarded with all of the, toughness that life gets, that life throws to you. All of these balls that life throws to you. Like, I don't know, your parents get mad at you, When you're a kid, you're like, God, that feels like really, 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 painful. Or, you make a mistake. Oh, God, the punishments that you get. When you're a kid, it's like, it's just to the extreme. It's not like when you're an adult where, you kind of are maybe much more emotionally mature. And the point is that this kind of like future aspirations, that's what gets you through your kid age, let's say that, your childhood. And especially, if you have, let's say, not that great childhood circumstances, that's even more, exaggerated. And so then when you grow up and a lot of stuff doesn't go how you imagine or how you dreamed, it kind of hits you hard, because it's not just, a little dream that, you created in your mind. No, I mean, it's actually your inner, kid who believed that anything was possible, and this is the future that it desired and it created. Now, what I'm going to tell you is a bit of a, let's say, not paradox, but a question for myself as well. Is that many times when what we remember or what our logical brain says doesn't equate to what our souls are communicating. Many times I've had, instinctive feelings, or just rushes of information that come to me, and I tell myself, so this is how it's going to happen, right? Because, you use the rational brain, you take all the pieces of the puzzle and you say, okay, this goes there, this goes there, this goes, oh yeah, now it makes sense. Like, for example, I would have a prediction and I would say, okay, now I know how the event is going to, actually unfold. Well, lo and behold, I pretty much miss a lot of other parts that I didn't see. Now, okay, I'm not saying that you have predictions. Maybe that's the best example that came to my mind, is that, when you plan ahead with your rational, logical mind, you say, okay, well, this is how the domino effect is going to go, this is how my, situation is going to unfold, and many times, it just goes, in a complete different direction. Now, my point being is that, actually kind of lost my thought there. Well, in any case, what I mean is that communicating with your souls is a bit more challenging when you're in adulthood, because now that you're no longer a kid, you realize that, okay, well, just being a kid, as they say, is not just, all sunshine and rainbows. You do get consequences, you do get, punishments, or, stuff happens. So you can't just go and, cross the road, as I think I mentioned in my previous video, and not look, twice to see if there are cars, because eventually, unless you are living in a place where cars, motorcycles, and bicycles don't exist, you will, unfortunately, be in a very dangerous situation. So, now that you're an adult, what you pretty much are is that you have kind of suppressed your inner child, and now you tell yourself, okay, well, because what I desired, what I dreamed when I was a kid, didn't come to fruition, well, now everything that I thought as a kid is complete bollocks or shit, and doesn't matter, and I'm an adult now, and I know more, and I will be more prepared, and I will find that success. Well, hate to, burst your bubble, but, your inner child is kind of the best, let's say, way how to find out what are you actually meant to do in this life. So in my previous videos, I always gave you some of these questions to ask. And in this video, I'm not going to ask you a specific question. I do want you to take some time and reflect on when you were a kid. Now, I'm not asking you to reflect on bad memories, don't worry. That's not the point of the video. There was a person that I knew who was also filming a video, so we kind of got in each other's way, so I had to pause the camera. Now, to continue my thought process. In this video, I want you to reflect on what you believed you could achieve when you were a child. And I know that at some point, you thought about your future, and you thought, what do I want to become? Or what do I want to have? Or where do I want to be? All of these questions. I kind of want you to imagine those desires, maybe write it on a piece of paper and say, okay, when I was a kid, was there an actual profession that I desired? Was there this subject that I just couldn't get enough of? Or was there this place that I just wanted to travel? Or maybe, was there this thing that I wanted to see or do, like an activity? And I want you to write that all down. And after you've written all that information down, what I want you to do is now, kind of put it aside for a moment and come back the next day. And I want you to then look at what you've written, and now, look at the words that you wrote and tell yourself, okay, well, do I still want to do that? Now, maybe some stuff, you've already done, or maybe some stuff, you're no longer interested in. But now ask yourself, okay, is there still something that I would want to do? And so, for example, I'll take myself as an example. So at least one of the stuff that I would write is psychology, thoughts, the way, and life's meaning, all of that. Perhaps a bit, of let's say, of psychic abilities. But yeah, that's what I would write down. And then what I would ask myself is, okay, do I still want to do that? Psychology? Yeah. I'm very much interested into analyzing and asking ourselves, why are we thinking this way? Why do our thoughts shape out? And, about energies and all of that I'm 100% still in. Now what I want you to do is I kind of want you to imagine that you are just an energy body. And if this sounds silly, don't worry, just try it out. Now imagine that you're an energy body. So you were a kid, right? So you went back to when you were a child. Now you are an adult, so that's why, you ask yourself, okay, do I still want to do this? And now what I want you to imagine is being an energy body. What does that mean? That means that you're not constricted with your physical body. So the best example that I could think of is, imagine that you're in a bubble and that there's just light shining out of you. So have this image in your head. I'll probably put a representation that I thinking of right here. And now I just want you to meditate on what you just were thinking of. So, you were thinking of, okay, well, you wrote down those things that what you desired to become when you were a kid. Then you thought about, well, do you still want to do that now as an adult? And now I just want you to question or ask yourself and reflect, if I was not actually even constricted to anything, if I was just light, where would that light go? And if there is a specific image or a word that resonates and comes up, you can write it down. And yeah, you can write it down and see what comes up. And pretty much what I'm trying to incentivize here is how your souls perceive life, and help you get more answers from your souls. So, to maybe make this big circle around and come back to this feeling of anger, which you probably are saying, this lady did not give me 5 steps to deal with my anger. What is going on? If you're this long and still watching, congrats to you. But yes, I haven't still given you these 5 steps because the point is that I'm not artificially going to try and suppress your anger. I'm not here to tell you suppress your emotions. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you that, in some sense, your emotions are kind of derivatives of how your souls feel, how well they're manifesting in this life. So, you being angry, and if we put aside the let's say other reasons why you could feel frustrated and irritated, the sexual or the abuse scenario, feeling irritated and angry at your whole life is pretty much a question more to the souls, to your souls, and that there's something that's not coming together. So you feel like life is unjust. You feel like the rug is always being pulled under you. Maybe you feel like, you want to crumble to your knees. Or you feel like you want to hit everybody. Whatever it is, most likely the case is that you're not fulfilling your purpose. You're not living, as I say, for the fact of receiving universal love. And how do you receive that universal love? How do you embody that and actually, imagine yourself being only covered with this and no longer have that anger, that boiling, let's say, water that's just always there inside of you and you can't get it out? Well, simply do what you love. You have to look at life this way, that you're not here to be a robot. As I say, you are energy, and energy is not a machine. Energy is here to create, to innovate, to feel significant, to feel important. That's very important. I think that many of us find ourselves in jobs where you just feel like you're a cog in the machine, whether you're there or whether you're not, I mean, nobody really maybe notices, or the decisions that you can actually make and implement don't really change much. And you just feel like, well, okay, I'm just here for the paycheck and that's it. Well, that's one of the problems, is that you don't feel that significant contribution, that input. And like I'll give you two scenarios. Okay, you have the scenario of a cashier who just has to scan, let's say, the groceries. And the only thing that the cashier might feel of importance is, okay, how fast can I scan the groceries so that the other person can get home, sooner? And they'll be grateful for that. It's just the feeling of importance is going to be very, very, low. And now compare it to, let's say, you creating a school, a bilingual school for kids, okay, and you actually focus more on developing their skills and what they're interested in. And you can add those languages on top, and with the goal that you are going to help them do what they love and teach them many languages. And now the significance, the importance that you're going to feel is so much more, not because you've created a school and there's so many kids and there's just so many parents that will be grateful for you, but because it is such a need that not, many of us actually, let's say, are honest with. That kids these days, they just feel lost. In the public education system. And I just think that, that is just so more, let's say, significant, It's just, if you take the example of the cashier, I'm not trying to, denigrate the whole job aspect or the fact that it's a stupid job. No, that's not the point. The point is that the cashier is just so transactional if you just look at it from a very general point of view, from a neutral point of view. Cashiers can be wonderful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's just a transaction, You scan the code, the other person gets the stuff, and that's it. At the end of the day, that job will eventually be, taken over by the machines. Self-service checkouts are already in most stores. So, the point of this analogy, and I don't know if this made any sense, it's just that, you kind of instinctively more resonate with creating a school, okay, that helps kids actually focus on their talents. If the kid doesn't want to learn history, he doesn't have to learn history. If he's gifted in maths, or if the kid is gifted in, being, let's say, a pilot, why have to worry about, literature? They're never going to be an English language teacher or whichever language teacher, So, I just felt that the significance that you would instinctively feel is so much more fulfilling with the other situation, so not the cashier. So that's what I mean, and of course, perhaps the biggest difference is, if I look at it, is that there is such a big pressing need for, kid education compared to cashiers, because there are plenty of people who are willing to be cashiers, but to open up a school and to actually teach how I described, there are less people willing to do that. So the need, of course, is higher for the school. Now, that was just kind of me explaining, as I always do, why, following your soul's purpose, allowing your souls to speak, yes, to communicate, it's kind of the same thing, is so important. And although I maybe didn't speak that much about the anger issues, but again, there's nothing more to say than, at least from my viewpoint today, than just speak to your souls, listen to your guidance, listen to your instincts. So it just started raining. I had to go and take some cover behind a bush. But the point of this video being that when you are in this angered state, or if you continue to wake up every day irritated, frustrated, nothing is going your way. Why is life so mean to me? Why is God, punishing me? I at least recommend you to look at this and say, okay, I am ignoring something bigger here. I am ignoring the meaning of life, which is many things, but at least one of them is to be who you're meant to be and do what you love. And, feel valued for that from others. And you can't get away from that, if you want to no longer feel angry, no longer feel irritated. As an adult, you're gonna have to accept that life is more than material things. And how best to start that? Well, A is perhaps do the little, reflection that I said before. And B is to just take a bit more risks. Don't put yourself in danger, but maybe what I would more say is take more risks in thinking the unconventional way. You can still work in a conventional job or a traditional job, but just then don't look at it as you fulfilling your duty as a proud citizen, getting their paycheck, creating that bank account with savings, and, being a sturdy tree that will eventually be able to support their family. Those are admirable traits. I don't say to forget about those. What I'm kind of trying to show you is that those traits are more meant for other people, when you're living with somebody else, when you're living for somebody else. Important. But at the end of the day, are you living for somebody else, or are you just living? And just living means doing what you're meant to do, Aligning with your soul's purpose. Alright, so my hands are frozen now. The weather changed very drastically. I started with the sun, and now it's... I don't know if you can see. It's cloudy, so... and raining. As always, hopefully my message, or some part of it, resonated with you. Hopefully you can get closer to that success that you dream. Because that's what I wish for everybody, is to be happy and fulfilled and find that enjoyment in life and success. So, with that, I will say bye-bye and till the next video.